my little prayer rock right here in Hebrew. Alright, we about to get to the end of the secrets of esoteric Christianity. First, we're going to start off with our introduction. Kadash, 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 Adonai, Elohim, Sabaoth, which means holy, 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 Lord of hosts. It also could be said as a mantra. It's the prayers that the angels sing day and night to the Most High, Anu Elionel. And it's also said when that mantra or prayer is said, it says that it removes any negative ions of the evil inclination from out of the environment of the airwaves wherever the ether is at. The same way that when you light sage, it removes negative ions and bad energy, Yah, He, Vah, He. Those 4 syllables of the Hebrew alphabet. The Hebrew alphabet consists of symbols that are in conjunction and correlate with the star constellations, the angelic language, the pure language, The Hebrew alphabet, starting off Aleph, Bayat, Gemal, Dalet, He, Vav, Zayin, Hayet, Tet, Ya, Kaf, Lamed, Mim, Nun, Sameth, Ayin, Pei, Tezdeh, Quaf, Resh, Shin, Ta. It's 22. Just like the Tarot consists of 22 arcana cards. 22 it is 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet. 22 is a very significant number. And those syllables Yah, He, Vah, He from that Hebrew alphabet are also can be used as a divine frequency. Through sound vibrational frequency from your throat chakra, which is blue, and it deals with communications, wrath for kindness. As it says in the Bible, there's life and death in the power of the tongue. So Yah, He, Vah, He, the first Yah signifies the Father who art in heaven, Abba, the architect of the universe, which is the divine masculine energy. And remember, God deals in duality, so he deals with both sides, good, bad, masculine, feminine, up, down, as above, so below. God created all things, but he created 2 sides of everything. There's a counterbalance to everything. There's an offense to every defense. So first Yod is a divine masculine. He is a divine feminine, which is Mother Nature, the womb of the earth. Planet Tiamat, planet Ka, planet Ha Adam, like Adam, the earth, it was where mankind was created, formed and molded, through the elements, Vav is mankind itself, which is another divine masculine, which is mankind itself. In the beginning, Elohim being plural, more than one, in duality, said, let us create them in our image. Keywords in the passage is us and our image, to be a light and a reflection, That's why Psalms 82 says, ye are all gods and children of the Most High. The eternal God is the eternal essence that lives within you, and how you manifest God particle within yourself as you follow the laws of nature, the laws of Torah, the laws of cause and effect, which render judgments or salvation, By you following that, that's how you become Christ-like. Christ was just a forerunner to show you the way of the sonship of God. I am in the Father. I am Haya Ashar Haya in the Father, Abba, and the Abba is in me. So remember that Jesus, Issa, Hamashiach, Yeshua, whatever you want to call it, that's what it meant, And back to the last Hey, which is the spirits of the wind. Anna Chokma. Anna means mother, and Chokma means wisdom. On the Hebrew Sephiroth in the Tree of Life, Chokma is one of the 10 Sephiroth, which starts off with Kether, Chokmah, which is wisdom, Benaz, understanding, Gedula, Jabra, Tiferet, which is beauty, Netzash, victory, Had, Yah, Sad, like Yah, Hey, Yasad, Malkuth. Malkuth is the kingdom. Some people say Malchut, but it's the kingdom within oneself of the temple to host the vessel. You know, Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth, Ha-Adam, as it is in the Shemayim, which is the heaven, which you know as heaven. Heaven is when you reach your higher self, the head, the crown, where Kether is. Kether sounds similar to ether, Kether, 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 pineal, where Jacob saw God face to face. Jacob meaning Yaakov in Hebrew, My name is James, and James is the English word for Jacob. Jacob translates to Yaakov in Hebrew, Anunnaki text they say Yaakov, so it's like it's key to know the duality of everything. It's always two sides to a story, and it's good to know things from different angles. Remember before I said angels are angles, entities are energies. Remember that. Ether, intelligence, Intelligence is within. There's ether within, because just like the sun produces ether, the plasma, the rays that shine down upon us, illuminate our being through our chakra, those electromagnetic fields within the body, host temple, that deal with the emotions. That's why in the Gospel of Thomas it says when the two become one. When your mentalism controls your emotions, or your thoughts control your emotions, you can make mountains move, because the emotions lie in the energy fields. Based upon that energy, that frequency you feeling will have effect on your emotions, and your emotions have effect on your thoughts that manifests to your actions. Salah, that makes sense. But let's jump. Let's see. I've been talking for 7 minutes so far, but I'm gonna get right into it. We at the last part. It's only 2 chapters left. This book, The Secrets of Esoteric Christianity. So today we're gonna talk about salvation. This is the esoteric version of salvation. It's like I said, it's 2 sides. You have your exoteric, which is your physical version, external version of salvation, which you've been taught in churches, or we've been taught through all these different concepts and ideologies. But this is the true meaning from within. This is my job in this last part of this end of the age. Every Hebrew, Israelite, spiritualite, whatever you want to call yourself, everybody has a job to do. Like I said, if there's 12 tribes and there's 12,000 out of each of the 12 tribes that make up the elect, each one of those tribes has a different color, an energy field, which is a gemstone. You see all right here. These are all different gemstones. This whole thing, it's all different gems, energy fields that correlate with the body. Just like the breastplates of righteousness, the breastplates that the Levites had on, which signifies all of the 12 tribes and the different colors. The breastplates of righteousness, you put on the breastplates of righteousness and the body armor of holiness. That's why when you always, like I did a video before talking about the rainbows, and it's multiple places in the Bible it talks about crystals. It doesn't really specifically tell you what crystals do, but it tells you how crystals correlate, with things that happen in heaven, and how crystals correlate with things that happen on earth, and always talking about these specific colors, these specific energy fields, and how they're connected to the divine. So let's get into the esoteric version of salvation. A lot of people ain't hip to this channel yet, but that's what I'm telling you. Please like, share, and subscribe, because guess what? They will come. This is the last straw. This is the information that I'm giving right now. Is the information that people can't comprehend yet. It's far beyond the comprehension. It's very few. Many are called, few are chosen. But this is the raw, uncut truth. Trust me. All the other information that everybody else is teaching, I done been there, done that. And I believe it. It's nothing wrong with it. I just leveled up to another concept. Basically. I left the carnal state, the physical state, and looking at things in the physical way. I'm past that at this point. I'm more in tune with the spirit, I'm becoming less of the flesh and more of the spirit. So I have to understand how spiritual things work. If I say understand is an understatement, because understand is carnal, it's physical. Everybody understands because you don't fully comprehend everything because you understand it. You deal with simplicity. That's what understanding means. You understand. You have a concept of it, but you don't really have the collective whole and full of it. So now let's jump into salvation in the esoteric version. So alright, salvation. Esoteric Christians call salvation the avoidance of eternal damnation. The avoidance of eternal damnation. That's what it means. Hell is a state of consciousness and being. It means eternal damnation. It's when you're in anguish. You things is not working in your favor. The elements is not working in your favor. But when elements do work in your favor, you say God has blessed you. You say that the universe is on your side. Things become smoother for you, because that's you're in a state of heaven, in good favor in the sight of the Most High. All praise to the Most High. Yahweh Vaheh, New Elinel. The sacred name of Yahweh Vaheh is the Tetragrammaton. So if you ever want to call on and be like, you say Anu Elinel. Basically, Anu means the Most High. Elinel. You say in the power of the 4 syllables, Yad, He, Va, He, under the most sacred Hashem, the name, you say Tetragrammaton, because the Tetragrammaton is what sums up the Yad, He, Va, He as a collective whole, which makes the Tetragrammaton. But Anu would just meaning the Most High, the Most High of the highest heights of heaven in the council, So Anu Elion El, it's Elion El is the title. You're saying the Most High, and then you put in a specific title, Elion El. You're not specifically saying Elohim. Elohim is more than one entity. So you say Anu, the Most High, Elion El. So look up what that means. In the power of the 4 syllables in the sacred Hashem. You say the Hashem, which means the name. The Tetragrammaton. I asked for such and such, I render that this judgment be done on my enemies, or I render that this salvation be done in the favor of such and such, and you explain yourself, You speak it from your heart, and you mean it. You put that emotion into it. The thought of why you come up with this, and the emotion of why you feel that way. This is how you connect to the eternal God, This is what the prayer is all about, It's speaking things into existence. Just like in the beginning, the Most High spoke things into existence, and they came about. That's the same thing. If you're a reflection of your creator, when you speak things into existence, they will manifest because you speak in them. And as you meditate on things, you get the answers. So salvation. The esoteric Christians call salvation the avoidance of eternal damnation in a burning fire called hell. For some beings in hell without God is preferable to being in heaven with his presence. From an esoteric standpoint, the belief in hell as a place created by God is nonsensical. Hell is a state of mind, a state of consciousness, a disposition, and attitude much like heaven. Energy, aggregate, every matter expression, every occurrence is in the process of becoming. Because there is no permanence in nature, it is impossible for a place like a lake of fire to persist indefinitely. The compassionate Father would not build such a horror and exile his children there forever and ever. God does not punish but consumes that which is humble inside man in order for him to be acceptable in the eyes of the Spirit. Creations are transient Emanations of God are, in a sense, eternal, even if they exist in cycles of activity and rest. It is hearsay to believe that a God of love would construct hell to punish wrongdoers for all eternity. The devil, now you see what these religious institutions, how they took things out of context, because look, this is just plain and simple as it sounds. Now, let this sink in and sink into your spirit. Really think about this. And this has been long debated. Cycles of activity and rest. It is hearsay to believe that a God of love will construct hell to punish wrongdoers for all eternity. The devil mind views God as a terrifying, wrathful being who eagerly sends sinful men into a blazing ring for his own divine delight. The devil mind opposes the children of light, approaching the divine throne and becoming one with the supreme being. This will be avoided at all costs. A flawed theology is to blame for the spread of the idea that man by nature is a sinful being. To achieve the condition known as salvation, we are taught to believe that the instrument of spiritual survival is faith in another, in a man whom they see as the unique Son of God, which is just a mask for what they truly want us to believe. The truth as we see it is that the clergy, with their egoistic nature, wants the poor man on the street to see them and their institution as a weapon of salvation and as God's intermediaries rather than one's self-reliance. This belief is deceptive. It leads man down roads that lead nowhere, leaving him lost in a labyrinth of delusion, suffering at strong delusions. Man must learn to be his own high priest with no one to intervene between him and God. This is how nature wants it. It is what God and the higher intelligence, the celestial hierarchies, want man to understand. The Christ inside is the single Son of God. The profound mystery instilled in pupils by the gurus of the esoteric Christian tradition. Exercises involving the summoned presence and the development of divinity are used in Christian mysticism to help the Christ child within grow. Some examples are as follows: constantly reflecting on the knowledge of God's presence both within and without. 2. Constantly reflecting on God's nature and attributes. Those are the different names, those 72, those titles, which are attributes. 3. Visualizing and nourishing God's triple flame within the heart on a daily basis. The heart chakra, which is green, which is love. 4. Manifesting the traits and nature of God in daily life. This is how to be a light and a reflection. You're in your temple, your host, your vessel. God is eternal. Your temple, the kingdom come, Mount Chet is within you. Invoking God's focus present in one's consciousness. The Shekinah, the Shekinah, however you want to pronounce it. Constantly listening to the still little voice, the voice of silence, the supreme word resonating. Increasing the light quotient in the microcosm, microorganisms, which is us. Lower force field through visualization, prayer, and invocation, Everybody think invocations has to do with magic, Yes, but magic it's not what you think it is. Like I told you, it comes from the African word heka, which just basically means measuring time, studying the laws of nature, the natural science of things, and understanding, how things operate. It means to be an engineer. Just like it says Christ was in the Bible, it says he was a carpenter. Carpenter is the same thing as an engineer. Someone who fixes, builds, or creates, concentrating on the spiritual star of initiation until it forms a protective halo around one's head, which is like which you get the crown chakra. So when you pray, you be like, army with the breastplates of righteousness and the body armor of holiness. Basically asking the Most High to place his hedge of protection around you. Let's read that again. Concentrating on the spiritual star of initiation until it forms a protective halo around one's head. That crown. Protecting Kether. Every part of your body is connected to the cosmos. Look at it as a tree. From its roots, from the roots, to the bark, up the tree trunk, all the way to the branches, the leaves. They all play a part. Sessions of attunement with the higher Christ self. This is talking about within. It says force, conservation, sublimation, and transformation. It says force, conservation, sublimation, and transformation. The last one is meditation and mystical resuscitation are practice. All right, let me see how much time we got. All right, we at 22. All right, I'm gonna finish this up. I gotta read through this because this is like the second or the last chapter. All right, it says the Gnostic view of salvation. According to the Esoteric Church, people who believe in the man Jesus will experience the physical resurrection of their decaying body or bones on the day of reckoning. We would all inherit, or rather enter, God's kingdom if we obeyed and believed the dogmas devised by the priesthood. It is unfortunate that man believes in such fantastical concepts, especially since St. Paul himself declares, flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God, nor does the perishable inherit the imperishable. 1 Corinthians 15:50. With the preceding verse as a model for truth. See, this is all in the Bible, but when you look at it in this esoteric form, it will make more sense. If you look at it in a carnal and physical way, you're going to get the same simplicity that you've been getting, and it's not going to make sense to you. But when you read the Bible in an esoteric sense, you'll breeze right through the Bible. Everything will start to make sense, With the preceding verse as a model for truth, one is struck by Tertullian around 190 AD. Clear opinion that anyone who opposes the resurrection of the flesh is a heretic. Even in the early days of Christianity, falsehoods and deceptions seeped into the church, which the Christ Master, whom we should all honor and respect, repudiated and denounced as satanic ideas. The true secret of resurrection, or etherealization of the physical form, was passed down in secret and silently to a select few who were worthy, those who could handle the secret science. Now, metaphors, parables, allegories, figurative language, Jesus' time, 12 disciples, 12 apostles. Listen to the name 12. It's symbolic to the same thing as 12 tribes of Israel. 12. Disciples means discipline. Those who can become disciplined. You see, they didn't understand, they tried to understand. They didn't understand or overstand it at first. They was like, basically, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? But he knew that those select few would be able to grasp the concepts. He took them, those average Joes, and then, he planted the seed and it sparked, This was done by design, It says, from an esoteric perspective, salvation is analogous to what Hindu philosophy refers to as moksha, mukti, kaivalya, or the more familiar Occidental phrase liberation. Liberation from the cycle of birth and rebirth, or reincarnation and ignorance. Buddhists consider redemption to be the attainment of nirvana, or the blowing out of the false ego, which results in liberation from one sojourning in the lower domains. An arahat, or child of God, is someone who has obtained such a state. Truth, according to the Piscean avatar, will set us free. What exactly is this freedom? We are all familiar with social and political liberties such as freedom of expression, freedom of worship, freedom to assemble, and freedom of the press. There are certain esoteric liberties that are devotions to and application of truth would reveal to us, such as freedom from past karma, liberation from ignorance and carnal impulses that generate new karma, the absence of pain, sorrow, deterioration, and death, freedom from the five senses constraints, freedom from physical constraints, self-ignorance, fear, and superstition are all gone. The ability to obtain knowledge and wisdom straight from God, the ability to worship the Almighty directly in our own unique way. God's gift to man is liberty. It is man's right to claim it. The essence of truth, freedom, can be expressed as the ability to mirror God's image as we were meant to do, to be a reflection and an image. Masonry ceremonies with the cable tile represent mortal constraints. The servants of the cable allows man to work for the master in the higher worlds. In a spiritual sense, freedom signifies man's ability to receive Holy Communion from the monad, his father in heaven. This is depicted in Genesis parable of the three characters, Lot, Abraham, and Melchizedek. According to one portion of the story, Lot represents the human consciousness, which is held captive by wicked rulers embodying carnal thoughts and lower urges of animal instincts, the animal nature. Abraham, or the higher self, comes to the rescue and offers tithe in the form of spiritual nourishment, transmuted energies, to Melchizedek, who personifies the monad, the divine spark inside man, as a mediator between the higher and the lower. Melchizedek, for his part, offers Abraham his spiritual force and substance in the form of bread and wine. To summarize, this is the esoteric reality of Holy Communion. I don't know how to pronounce this word, EUCHARIST, as it occurs in the microcosm. Let us conclude this topic with a short New Testament phrase that captures our theme of redemption via human effort throughout these pages. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Galatians 2:12. Now that's the end of that on salvation. The last part of this book is called The Esoteric Concept of God. So we're going to end it right there. Amim Tha Salah. Like, share, subscribe, and pass the message on if it resonates with your spirit. Y'all bless. Salah. I'm out.